Now it's a podcast, and you know what that means.
What does that mean?
Bumpity boopy.
Time to get spoopy.
Roll spooky intro. Hello, my name is Zach.
And my name is Nick.
Welcome back to Garrett's Venue Podcast. There, bud.
Oh yeah, there, bud.
And as per usual, dear bud, what are you sipping?
I'm keeping it classy.
Ooh.
I'm sipping on a Bud Light Platinum. What are you sipping on, dear bud?
White Claw. Lime, to be exact.
It's the best White Claw in my opinion.
Pretty fire. Welcome back to True Crimes. We told you get 2 or 3 this month, so here you go.
Yeet.
This is True Crimes Ed Gein,
Ooh.
a.k.a. the Butcher of Plainesfeild,
Oh.
a.k.a. the inspiration behind Norman Bates and Psycho, freaking Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs.
Wow.
Yeah, he inspired a lot. So, born in August of 1906.
Wait, what?
Born...
1906.
Yes, 1906. You heard me right.
Okay. I was just making sure.
No, 1906, bro. So, Ed Gein, his early life is kind of where we get real interesting, to say the least.
Okay.
So, his mother, Augusta, reportedly hated Ed Gein's father. His father was an alcoholic who couldn't keep a job. He actually had a little shop inside the town at a point, and he ended up selling it. After that, Augusta, Ed, his brother Henry, and the father all moved on Augusta's request. They moved to the way outskirts of Plainsfield to pretty much live in isolation on a farm.
Okay.
She was very psychotic. She was very religious. She forced Ed and his brother to read scripture at a very specific time. It's specifically 4 o'clock every day. But not just, time to read scripture. She specifically only let them read out loud from the Old Testament and only the stories about death and murder.
Oh.
Yeah. So, Ed Gein also wasn't allowed to make friends. He went to school. That's the only time that him and his brother were allowed to leave the house. Ed Gein was not particularly smart. He had a few mental issues, and you will learn about those as we go. He was very shy in school, but he tried to make friends. And every time he's tried, his mother would literally belittle him and beat him for it, telling him, "You're not allowed to have friends. You're not allowed to." So, years of being forced to read scripture, a father who couldn't keep a job, but didn't beat him or anything, just couldn't keep a job, was an alcoholic. His father finally died in 1904 due to alcohol poisoning. Just major alcoholism got the best of him. Ed and his brother Henry began to look for work so they could keep up the farmhouse and to essentially keep their mother, afloat. One of the jobs Ed Gein did was he reportedly would babysit neighbors and people children in the city. He actually would babysit this one 16-year-old who claimed that when Ed would babysit, we'd be at his place. He kept shrunken heads that he claimed was a gift from a friend who fought in World War II in the Philippines. So that's a little weird.
Yeah.
He also would babysit children because he was trusted to. He was very liked. He was a good way to put it. He's like the town idiot is a kind of a sad way to put it. He's very simple, very, very unintelligent. He'd come into town, he'd shop, and he'd hello to everybody. Just very simple kind of a guy. People really liked him. But he was asked to babysit children because he related to them. Because his thought level and his learning level was on theirs. So people were just like, yeah, sure. He had issues communicating with adults. So, Ed's brother Henry began to date a divorce. I tried to say date and divorce at the same time. He began to date a divorced mother of 2 children. And he was also beginning to tell Ed that we need to get away from Mom. She's not good for us. Henry was apparently a very loving brother, and he was very concerned about Ed because he was so impressioned by his mother. And Henry was trying to get Ed to understand, like, we need to go. It is time for her to live on her own. We can go. We are adults. It's not worth it. So while this is happening, in 1941, there was a giant fire at the Gein farm.
Okay.
When this happened, Ed's brother Henry was not seen. He couldn't be found for a little bit. The fire department was called, and they found Henry's body face down in the dirt. No burn marks or anything, but he had lacerations on his head and bruising on his head, face, and throat, looking like he was beat. The police, unfortunately, because Ed was who he was and such a simple human, did not determine anything of foul play. They said it was more or less he fell trying to escape, and yeah. It's like, it's 1940, and I'm highly aware that, like, you know, technology is not quite there yet on, like, the crime scale, but, like, dude,
yeah, lacerations on the neck.
Come on,
dude.
So, after Henry died, Gein's mother had a really bad stroke. Ed Gein's mom had a horrible stroke. During the stroke, like, she apparently went very psychotic, like more than usual. Ed Gein had told a story in jail how, on account, he would go buy straw from someone who Ed Gein called Mr. Smith. That's it. And they went to go buy straw from Mr. Smith, quote unquote, one day, and Mr. Smith was actually beating a dog. And a woman came out and screamed at him and said, "You're going to beat this dog to death." He ended up actually killing the dog in front of Ed and Ed's mother. Ed's mother was very furious at the situation, but not because the dog got beat to death. Because a woman had come near her son and was seen by her son. The mother caused a huge scene, and literally called the woman the Smith House harlot, and just said a lot of nasty things to her, as well as to Mr. Smith, who just didn't do anything. Who was like he didn't say anything to them about the woman who was buying stuff from you. Literally just called what could potentially be your daughter or wife a harlot, a slut, a bitch, and you're just, that sucks. Like, really?
Wow.
To give you kind of an idea of the area they lived in, you know, not really the greatest area, if you will. So, let's get into some weirdness, shall we? So, Gein's mother died. It said, in like 45. It was speculated 45. No one really knew. This caused Ed to kind of snap. So in 1957, a woman named Bernice Warden went missing. She was the local owner of a hardware store and a local convenience shop. The sheriff in town, who was her son, Frank Warden, went to investigate the crime scene. They found nothing missing except the register money, and Frank Warden said there was blood everywhere. Frank Warden told the investigators in the town, "Hey, I don't know if this is a lead, but Ed Gein was in here yesterday, and he had bought a giant tub of antifreeze."
Okay.
So the police said, "Okay, well, we'll go pick up Ed Gein. Can you prove that he was here?" Ed Gein was the last person to see her alive. He was there the night before, right before closing, and Bernice had told her son about it earlier, saying it was kind of weird. He was acting funny. And so, due to that, the police found Ed Gein at a just grocery store and arrested him in the grocery store because Frank Warden posted up a receipt to them saying, "Here's the receipt of Ed Gein buying the antifreeze. He was here. He was here the day before. He might have been the last person to see my mother. We need to get him." So Ed Gein gets arrested. Same day. Same day that Bernice Warden goes missing. So, they go to investigate Ed Gein's house. They find Bernice Warden's body. Head cut off. She's naked, and she's what they call dressed up like a deer, which is where when someone kills and catches a deer to, eat it and hunt it, whatever, they're tied up by their arms and legs, upside down, so the blood drains, and they're cut open. They found her body like that.
Oh.
So, they decided to search the house after that. I didn't write this whole list down because it's long, but I'm going to give you the whole list because I have it on my phone. Are you ready?
I guess so.
They found whole human bones and fragments inside the house. They found a wastebasket, so trash can made of human skin. They found human skin covering several chairs and seats. They found skulls on his bedposts. They found specifically female skulls. Some of the tops of them had been sawn off to make bowls, which they found. They found a corset made from a female torso that had clearly been skinned from shoulders to waist. They found leggings made from human skin. They found masks made from skin of female heads. Masks from heads. They found a woman named Mary Hogan's face who had been missing in a paper bag. Been skinned off. They found Mary Hogan's skull in a box. They found Bernice Warden's entire head in a sack. They found Bernice Warden's heart in a plastic bag in front of Ed Gein's stove. He was preparing to cook it. They found 9 uvulas in a shoebox. They found a young girl's dress and the vulvas of 2 females judged to have been about 15 years old. They found a belt made from human nipples. They found 4 noses, a pair of lips on a window shade drawstring, a lampshade made from skin of a human face, and they found tons and tons of fingernails from female fingers. Yeah.
What?
Yeah? Let me make this clear. You just heard all that, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of bodies. Confirmed a lot of bodies. Ed Gein has killed 2 people. 2. Just 2.
Wait.
Just 2. That missing woman, Mary, and Bernice. He killed 2 people, and they found all that stuff. You gonna find out why, dude.
Wait, what?
Yeah. 2 people is all he killed. 2. Just 2.
How did they find that much stuff?
You're not ready for this.
Oh, no.
It's about to get dark. You guessed it. You know what time it is for this video? Viewer discretion advised. Bobbity booby, time to get spoopy. Get ready. So.
Oh, God.
So Gein, when asked about all this, said that from about 1947 to 1952, he had made roughly 40 to 50 visits to 3 different graveyards in the area. He said that he would normally go and he was in a daze. He wouldn't remember them, but he would come out of said daze in the graveyards. He said he would normally just walk out and leave it. But he said on the other occasions, he would go and he was looking for women that were freshly buried, graves incomplete, so he could get to them that resembled his mother. And he would take memorabilia. He took skulls. He took fingernails. He took whole bodies. You get it. So, after his mother died, Ed Gein admitted to saying the reason a lot of people found that stuff in there is because after his mom died, he was working on making a female suit. He was making a woman suit because he said he literally wanted to crawl into his mother's skin.
What?
Yeah. Wanted to literally become his mother. Norman Bates and Psycho. Exactly where that came from. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah. He was asked if he desecrated any of the bodies, like with sex, and Ed Gein went on record of saying, and I quote, "No, they smelled bad." You're wondering when you were looking at pictures of Ed Gein?
Yeah,
And
for
you
the
found
podcast.
that picture that said, it was a picture of Ed Gein and it just said, "They smelled bad." I didn't tell you, but that's what that's from. So,
What?
During questioning, one of the sheriffs, surprisingly not Bernice's son Frank, a different sheriff, during questioning, was so disgusted and sickened by Ed Gein that he grabbed Ed Gein by the head and slammed him into a brick wall 3 times. Because of how disgusted he was. Yeah. So, Ed Gein was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 1957, so he did not stand trial.
Oh.
10 years later, in 68, he was determined sane to stand trial. The officer who had slammed him against the wall died before, because he was supposed to stand trial with, he was supposed to be, a defense, like against Ed Gein. He had died due to mental problems and a heart attack, and his family said the stress of having to stand trial, the stress of being a sheriff, and the stress of Ed Gein killed him. He is another one of Ed Gein's victims. That is what the family of that sheriff said. Okay. So, when Ed Gein stood trial, 10 years, by the way, later, in 68, they asked him what happened, and Ed Gein claims that he was at the store and he was looking to purchase a .22 caliber rifle. Like I said, Bernice had been found. They didn't explain what happened. She was shot in the heart with a .22 caliber rifle.
Oh.
And her head was cut off and she was strung up, luckily, after her death. She died, and then Ed Gein did all those things. Ed Gein claimed he was trying to buy a .22 caliber rifle, and he asked Bernice if he could load it to make sure it worked, and she said yes. He said he loaded it, and it misfired and shot and killed her. He said he freaked out, drug her body out. That's why there was blood everywhere. Took her back to the farm. Now, that doesn't quite make sense as to why, her head was cut off or her body was strung out like a deer, or why the fuck he's robbing graves. But
yeah,
you gotta have a defense. It's easy as that.
I guess so.
Yep.
Good Lord.
So after his arrest and his incarceration, he's sentenced to life in jail. Not the murder, or not the death penalty. He's sentenced to life in jail. All of his stuff, his estate and everything, went up for auction. It was supposed to go up and be sold, house and all, on May 20th. Or May 30th, I'm sorry. On May 20th, 10 days prior, the house and everything with it. So, like, they obviously took everything, like the skin stuff for investigation. Like the bed and stuff. All of it caught fire and burned down.
Really?
The only thing that was left was Ed Gein's Pinto. He had a Pinto. One of those cars was the only thing that was left. It is 100% determined that arson was the cause. They said that there was a garbage fire set 70 feet from the house. The police said someone set this fire. 100% someone went up there and burned it down.
Wow, but it couldn't have been Gein, right?
Well, no, Ed Gein's in jail. But someone burned it down.
Wow.
We're going to touch on that in a minute, actually. And there's a very specific reason. So, his car, though, his Pinto, was sold for $760. A Carnival owner bought it and charged 25 cents for people to sit in it and see it. And he called it, and it was like the Butcher of Plainfield's car. Sit where a psychopath sat. And the carnival owner had said that he made so much money on the first 4 days of having it. He was like, I tripled what I bought for the car.
Wow.
And it's 25 cents per person. That's insane. That's insane.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to do.
So Ed Gein died in 1984 from lung cancer, as well as respiratory failure, and Mendoza Mental Institute.
So he died in a mental institute.
Mm-hmm. He actually has a gravestone there that you can visit.
Where is this?
I gotta look. I can't remember the exact state, but we should definitely go. I'd love to see it. That'd be fascinating.
That's crazy.
That's really cool. So let's talk about. So Ed Gein has a lasting effect. It's very unfortunate. It's very sad. So the city of Plainesfeild is very big on pretty much acting like it didn't happen.
I can't imagine why.
I mean, it's a small town with a small population. Everyone knows everyone. It's kind of like where we grow up, where me and you grew up. Everyone knew everyone. It's a lot like that, but imagine where we grew up, smaller, and it's like everyone's in everyone's business. It's one of those kind of small towns.
Oh, yeah. Like it's probably the Midwest, right?
Yes, it is. I believe it is. So they just act like nothing happened. It didn't happen. If you go to Plainsfield, apparently, and you talk about Ed Gein, people kick you out of stores. Like,
really?
Get out. You can't even talk about Ed Gein. People want to forget that shit happened. And I understand why, for the obvious reasons of, like, it's Ed Gein, and it's tragic, and it's really messed up, but it's, there's news reports, actually, of, like, in, like, videos from after his 1968 trial, where the people of Plainsfield are like, we just want to forget about it. Stop coming here. Stop asking us questions. Stop talking about it. A lot of people think that the people of Plainsfield got together and actually lit the fire. And they think the Plainsfield police covered it up. A lot of people think the conspiracy behind it is everyone got together in the town and pretty much torched the house together.
Wow. Okay. That answers one of the questions I had.
Yeah. What else you got? Ask away. Questions, comments, concerns.
Okay, so this is kind of more on the movie end, I guess, but how did it for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Because I've actually never seen that movie.
Okay. So the reason it kind of influences it, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre, if you've seen it, you'll know. If you haven't, spoiler. Leatherface skins people. He wears women's faces. He skins people alive and makes costumes out of there. Kind of like what Ed Gein was doing. And in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's a part where they're actually drinking out of bowls that are human skulls.
Okay.
It makes sense 100% with Norman Bates and Psycho. I mean, it's 100% Norman Bates to the creepy house, to the wanting to be the mom. And then with Buffalo Bill and Silence of the Lambs, it's very similar with the whole he was making a woman suit.
Right, yeah.
That's the whole thing. So yeah, Ed Gein inspired a lot of horror movies. Very weird to think about. Very weird. Yum.
And so you said he killed 2 people.
That's it.
Was the second one his brother, or?
Well, technically, I guess you could say 3 because the brother was undetermined, but it was that Mary woman who they found her head, and they found her head and her heart. Yeah. And then it was Bernice, and then he probably killed his brother, so he technically killed 3, but he got charged for 2.
I wonder why he killed his brother.
Talking ill of his mother.
That's what I was about to say.
100%. That's probably why he did it. It's crazy because Ed Gein lived to, he was born in 04, and he lived till like 80 something. He died at 77 years old, I think, is what it said. So he lived to like right at like 1980, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, it's crazy to think about.
One thing I wonder is if the gun misfire was actually a thing.
Part of me wants to say maybe, but you don't misfire a gun and then take that person home, cut their head off, and dress them out like a dead deer.
Yeah, that's the
You don't put their heart in a bag to eat later. Fact.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But him being like the town idiot, it kind of makes me be like, it may have. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm not gonna go into
I
my
totally
true
understand, yeah.
my true details because I'm kind of 50-50 on the gun misfiring just based off of speculation I will talk about after the podcast.
No, that's totally fine. I'm like 70-30 on it.
I kind of feel that way too.
I'm like 70-30 on it. 70% kill confirmed.
He killed, kill confirmed, yeah.
There's a 30% where it's like, but did you?
Did you?
Yeah. But then I think of the grave robbing and the head.
Yeah, the grave robbing,
the heart in the bag next to the stove to cook, and it's like, maybe more like 80-20.
You know, American Horror Story first season, when she's like cooking the brains, I wonder if that was derived from Gein.
No, I think that was
just weird.
I think that was Ryan Murphy loving Hannibal Lecter and was like, watch this, even though that was technically derived from Ed Gein. If you really think about it. Hannibal Lecter even, Silence of the Lambs. He's kind of a mixture of Ed Gein and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay.
Cannibal, and I don't know where the artistic thing comes from, but I absolutely adore those movies. He's kind of a mixture of them as well, though. It's very interesting.
Yeah, this is a weird one. I can definitely see, like... I didn't know about... I've never seen, God...
Silence of the Lambs?
No, I love Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Hannibal, Red Dragon? Because both of those are kind of similar.
Is it the Hills Have Eyes, or...?
Yeah, Hills Have Eyes was actually... and I'll quick side story. Hills Have Eyes is based off of a technically true story. There was a cannibalistic family that lived in the desert for a long time that actually killed 8 people, and they all got arrested and killed. They all got arrested and put to death. That's a real thing.
Oh.
Yeah, fun fact of the day. Yeah, it's like, oh shit.
Wow.
Yeah, what the? I haven't even said fuck once, I don't think, this podcast. There it is.
You just did.
What the fuck? There it is.
Texas Chainsaw. There we go. I meant to say that. I've never seen that movie, so...
It's very good. I don't think we're going to do a review on it. I know we have some movie reviews planned, which we've already discussed, and one's already out.
Yeah.
But if we do another movie review, and I go, you know what, screw it, I'll show you Texas Chainsaw.
Okay.
It's super good. I actually showed it to my girlfriend not too long ago, the original Texas Chainsaw, because there's a remake. We're not going to watch that. We're watching the original. The original is like a masterpiece of horror. It's so well done, especially for the time it came out, and it was very jarring for the time it came out. Very kind of like how we talked about in the Halloween podcast. It's very jarring when it first came out. No blood in Halloween, but it's like, whoa, you can't do that.
You don't do that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about, if we do Texas Chainsaw, we'll talk about that. That'll be a good breakdown if we do one.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Ed Gein, our next video will be Alcatraz East. Crime Museum, a.k.a. Spoopy Headquarters.
Yes.
It's really cool. You guys if you've been watching this month, you've seen our John Wayne Gacy podcast. We will be showing you guys pictures of John Wayne Gacy's clown suits. We will show you Pogo the Clown, the actual suit. Show you the patches of the clown suit. You know what else we're going to show you? We'll show you one of Ed Gein's teeth.
Wait,
that he turned into a necklace and mailed to somebody while he was in jail.
You didn't talk about that. Let's talk about that real quick. He did what?
He literally took one of his teeth out in jail and made a necklace and mailed it to a quote-unquote fan. Yeah. You're gonna get to see all that in the next podcast. It's fucking metal. It's so cool. It's so cool to see it, dude.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
we leave for that trip in, like, literally less than 48 hours, bro. So, like, let's go. Let's fucking go. We're recording this the day before we're leaving. Or 2 days before we're leaving, so yes, sir.
So I guess for those of us that don't know, where is Alcatraz East?
It is in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Okay.
It's about 3.5 hours from where we are. So it's not a bad drive for us at all. It's definitely a day trip. It's super cool. If you're anywhere near Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, make the trip. It is. I've been there once. I'm super excited to go back because they have rotating stuff in there. When I went, I actually got lucky. I got to see John Dillinger, the famous gangster. I got to see his car, his actual car. I also got to see O.J. Simpson's white Bronco. It's actually there.
Wow.
I don't know if it's there right now, though. But something you will get to see that is a permanent exhibit there, which we'll show you guys. Ted Bundy's Volkswagen Bug is there. They found 6 different female DNAs that he murdered in it. You get to be about as far away as we are right now from that bug.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, get ready because this next podcast is gonna be nuts. You guys get to see some of the cool. The next one might be long. You are going to see some of the coolest shit. I absolutely loved it. I had a blast when I went. I'm excited to go back. We're ready.
I'm ready.
We're ready. We might go to the wax museum just because it's creepy in general.
Ooh, yeah, I want to see that.
It's cheap too. It's right next door to Alcatraz East, so we can just walk next door.
Let's do it, dude.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us for the Spooky Podcast. We've had a lot of fun this month. I know the month's somewhat close to an end. We're about halfway there. Maybe a little later than halfway. But, we've had a lot of fun, and we hope you guys are having fun, too. And we're super stoked to show you Alcatraz East. We're very excited.
Very excited.
Well, I hope you guys have been enjoying spooky season. I hope you guys are having a good time. I hope you guys are doing scary things. And, you know what time it is?
Oh, I thought you were going to hold hands.
I mean, we can still hold hands to the outro. Give me your hand. We're holding hands. Don't. Dude, seriously. Why is your hand so clammy? Yeah, disgusting. It's sweaty. Oi. Don't you dare leave this channel without liking it,
commenting,
subscribing,
sharing,
caring,
clicking that bell icon so you get notified when we post a new video,
and following us on Instagram, which you can do right now. I'm not even going to yell about it. If you're on your phone or your your laptop or anything, actually, because I'm learning new things about this all the time. You're going to click the Instagram icon, or it's going to say link, or it's going to say bio, and you're going to click it, and it'll take you to Instagram, and you just got to click the follow button. You can also follow us over there on the new old Twitters, which we're promoting this month hella hard, at SKTP. It's at SKTP. That's our Twitter. Just look for She Killed the Podcast on Twitter. Pretty great. Pretty great. We'll keep you updated as to what's going on. As well as on the Instagram. We went kayaking last month.
Ooh, yeah.
Did you see the pictures? If you didn't, it's on Instagram.
It is such a good picture, too.
Yep. We'll see you guys in the Alcatraz East video.